All right. You ready to rock and roll?
Let's do this.
All right.
Let's do this.
Here we go. All right. Coming up on Double Take with the Watch Brothers. Of course, this is an old piece of wanted to express myself on. Josh Norman versus Odell Beckham Jr. Of course, everybody was talking about the hype game between the Panthers and the Giants.
Mm-hmm.
They received brutal blows during the game, which led to multiple fights. Now, they choose to go ahead and go out on Twitter, throw jabs on Twitter. So after these on-the-field issues, who's the better player? We'll have that discussion later in the show. Also, the NFL and WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania is long past.
Long past.
But there was an article that came out on NFL.com, I think like a few days or weeks before WrestleMania 31. Was it? 31?
Yeah.
I think it was WrestleMania 31. Before WrestleMania 31 came to Dallas, there was an article, of course, that had NFL players resembling WWE stars. I will have all that for you also later in the show. And then we will also have sports athletes and their faith. Trust, faith, and humble athletes always put God first in everything they do. How important is faith in your career? We'll wrap that also later in the show. Also, what is on your mind? We either blow off steam or we just talk. Whatever it is on our mind, sports or not. Followed by Quizmania, question of the day. And finally, critical thinking for analyzing stats. Darren gives, interesting stats for the month. And also he gives analysis with myself, for the NBA and or NFL. That is all coming up on Double Take with the Watch Brothers. From Indianapolis, Indiana, welcome to Double Take Sports Talk, where we take NBA and NFL topics to another level. We are currently on our third episode of the show. Thank you for tuning in. I'm Daryl Watts, alongside my partner in crime, Darren Watts. He is in the house today. What's up, Darren? What's going on, man? You doing all right?
Yes, sir. Doing just well. What's good with you?
I can't complain here, man. Just making the grinding.
Making the grinding.
Mm-hmm.
Making, grinding, and the drinking.
Why not? You're going to need something to keep yourself
refreshed,
clear.
You're no good at this. You're no good at this.
I'm just saying, man. There's nothing really much going on. Just enjoying another good day as usual.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, man. You ready to start our rundown?
Let's do this.
All right, here we go. We start the show with our rundown. All right. West Coast offense. That is the most highly popular playbook in the NFL. So our question is other than the West Coast offense, which do you believe can be a successful playbook?
I don't know how many people going to agree when I say this. A lot of people will automatically look at what New England does and automatically go off what they do. Throw heavy. Coach does it too. Throw heavy and stuff like that. But they also have that vertical passing also. I don't agree.
I don't agree with that vertical passing.
I don't like the vertical pass. I don't even like the spread. I like the balanced offense, but that's not the one that I think that would really spice it up. The one offensive playbook for me, and I even have it in the video game that I used to play a while ago. The one thing that really stands out to me is the shotgun formation playbook. Although you're a few yards back, you still have time to observe the field once you get the football.
Yeah.
You have more time to observe than you do rather being, up close. That's just me. And I prefer, what is it exactly called? I think it's supposed to be called the, I seen it on here. I don't even know the name of it, but I think it's shotgun passing.
Shotgun passing.
Yes, shotgun passing. If it was another one that I wanted to do, if I seen that the West Coast was being used a lot, and it usually is used a lot in the NFL, but I prefer
And the success of it,
and
it really takes.
I prefer to use shotgun passing, and that seems to work to perfection for me.
It does. For me, it would have to be a balanced or throw heavy. And the reason why I say either balanced, well, actually, I also really prefer also run heavy. But you have to have a good running back for that, so that could really kind of change the perplex of the game.
Oh yeah.
But
With,
because
play action.
Play action, because with the with run heavy, that opens up play action, and that really can really attack the defense.
Oh yeah.
But if the playbook is smart enough to understand the defensive schemes and the playbook itself, firsthand it should be a success. That's just how I see it. Having the right personnel to fit the system of any kind, it will add that help to succeeding in the playbook that you're desired to do. You can do any type of playbook, and regardless of the fact that if you do create your own, just something built up, scratched, or whatever, if you built that, and if it actually succeed, you can actually succeed in that. It's just having the right personnel and the right coaches for that type of system. But if it was me in general, it would be either balanced, run heavy, or throw heavy. But I prefer run heavy.
Do you have any? Well, of course, because you prefer the running back.
I prefer
position.
to run, but if you don't have a good running back, like some teams do, they like to run heavy but don't have good running backs to utilize, then you got to work on something else.
Yeah.
But
like it would work perfectly with Minnesota.
Absolutely, with Adrian Peterson.
It would work perfectly with Seattle.
And it worked
at one point in time.
Absolutely, with Marshawn Lynch, and it also worked with
Jacksonville.
Oakland at one point.
And Jacksonville.
Oakland with Darren McFadden when he was on the team at the time. And of course, you said Jacksonville with Maurice Jones-Drew. Fred Taylor was on the team at the time. Yes, so those type of things will work, but at the end of it, none of them run a ring except who? Seattle and
just Seattle.
Just Seattle. Yep, just Seattle.
Because everybody else did different schemes.
They did different schemes. But I don't even think Seattle was a run heavy type of team. They just utilized the running back.
Yeah.
They just utilized it. But
well, what's your fling with a shotgun?
What's my fling with? Ain't nothing wrong with a shotgun. I just don't prefer it. Shoot. If I'm either out there playing on the field or playing on the video game, guess what I use a lot?
Running backs?
No, shotgun.
Oh.
I use shotgun.
Yeah.
I use it a lot because it just depends on what the team that you're playing. But I use shotgun a lot because they really, like you said, gives you time to observe the field. And that is one of the most important things that you got to have when you're using your vision as a quarterback. You got to visualize the field.
The best team you can use that. The best defensive teams you can use that against is teams that likes to blitz.
Yeah, that likes to blitz.
Pittsburgh.
Yeah, you really have to use your shotgun fanatics and attack that.
And now Tennessee, because Dick LeBeau went to Tennessee.
Oh, he did?
He been with Tennessee.
I thought he was with Pittsburgh.
No, he left Pittsburgh as the defensive coordinator. He left them and he was supposed to have gone to Arizona, but it was too far for him to be able to visit family, so he ended up going to Tennessee.
I thought he was in Pittsburgh. You sure about that?
I believe he left.
Wow.
I believe he left.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure about it. I can look it up real quick, but I'm pretty sure
he
left.
Yeah, you can look it up, but
I'm pretty sure he left.
I thought he was still with Pittsburgh. I cannot believe this. No. How far behind am I?
Yeah, he's been gone for over a year. Matter of fact, this might be his second or third season.
With Tennessee?
Yeah.
Well, I'm just trying to put together. There are some very successful defensive coordinators out there. There are very good offensive coordinators out there that that could be able to use those type of systems and be able to be successful off of it. But either way, if you look at it, I still prefer my run heavy.
Yep, he's the assistant head coach for the Tennessee Titans.
Get out of here! I did not know that.
Yeah.
I thought I'm still thinking he's with Pittsburgh.
Yeah. He left him 2014. Yeah.
Wow. And James Harrison decided to play another year. How interesting is that?
Yeah, that was the big issue that a lot of people were thinking that he was going to go to Tennessee with him,
Nah, he said he's gonna. I think he's gonna stay.
and he probably most likely did. I think he did stay.
I think he stayed. But yeah,
Mm-hmm.
me, I like my run heavy.
Cool.
See, I'm a running back type of person. I like
Right. See, I like to throw, so I'm a quarterback. I like to throw,
so that helps.
shotgun,
Absolutely.
pass and play. I don't even. I like the pass heavy, but
Mhm.
I prefer shotgun.
Absolutely. Okay. Up next, um, this one I've been thinking about this a lot, especially just this past season. And one of the things that caught my attention is when a quarterback drop backs to throw, and there are butterfinger receivers that tips a catch, and it's an interception, and that interception is credited to a quarterback. One of the things that I wanted to talk about on this one was added a new stat line for the quarterbacks. The quarterbacks are pretty much responsible for every piece of interception that is being made, rather if it's off a tip pass or whatever of any sort. So even off of receivers, butterfinger, tip catches, should there be a new stat line based off of QB's interceptions?
So meaning like a separate.
Just like a separate, like, or you can even put it like an asterisk or something saying, you got this interception. You still get credit for it, but it was off of a tip pass. Or you don't have to get credit for it, still be an asterisk saying it was based off a tip pass.
Well, I mean, even the passer rating, quarterback ratings are based off of interceptions anyway.
Well, that's because they put it into the completions and attempts. That's
Right.
how it was added on there.
Because it's divided into 4 different sections, being touchdown ratio, completions ratio, interceptions, of course, ratio,
Right.
and there's one more ratio I don't remember.
Mhm.
I forgot what it was. And I never do remember it every time I think of it.
I
But
don't either. I don't either.
they're divided up into 4 categories, and interceptions being one of them.
Right.
So even if it is their fault or not, they automatically have their own statistic for that just because of the quarterback rating and the passer rating.
But see, that's the thing. When you can throw the best accurate pass to your receiver, but if they don't complete the catch and it's tipped pass by the receiver, why should a quarterback be able to get that type of stat of an interception because of a tipped receiver? I think that a receiver should be able to have some kind of stat line too based off them they can't catch the ball. You know what I'm saying? It's a tip pass. It's not the quarterback's fault on the way that they threw the football.
But they actually do when you think about it. Thrown to, and then how many catches they completed out of
Dropped
that.
passes.
And drop passes.
I mean,
they have it.
But what I'm saying is that it needs to be some kind of asterisk in there. Drop pass by receiver.
For
or
a
tip
quarterback.
pass by receiver.
For a quarterback.
Yeah, for a quarterback on a stat line, or because it's already on a receiver stat line, and so when they say interceptions, it should be an asterisk, tip pass, tip catch by the receiver, of some sort. Because, like I said, that is not even a quarterback's fault.
Yeah.
That's just how I see it. Now, however, if the quarterback is throwing the football, and one of the defensive men push their hands up and attempts to pass and it's intercepted.
That's
yes,
one thing.
That's one thing.
But
I'm basically talking about off the receiver's hands and it gets tipped off of their hands.
Mm-hmm.
It should be some kind of stat line on there based off an interception.
Mm-hmm.
It should be an asterisk saying, hey, tip to pass. Or tip catch, excuse me, by the receiver. That's just how I see it. I think that's just something they should at least consider.
But there are different considerations you have to look at for the reason why they probably don't put it on there. Considering, like you said, tip passes, that to me technically counts as a inaccurate throw. If any time that the receiver can get their hands up and tip a pass, defensive lineman, anytime they can do that, to me that's an inaccurate pass. Anytime that the ball is wobbly when you throw it, that's an inaccurate throw to me. So there's quarterback faults in that, not to include, like I said, wobbly throws and not throwing it on time, which causes a receiver to have butterfingers. It could be a second late, and you wouldn't even notice it.
Well, not if the quarterback is in the line of vision of your defensive lineman. Like I said, yes, that could be an inaccurate pass. But if your pass is accurate and you're in the vision of your receiver and they just happen to boom, boom, keep their eye off the ball, tips it, yes, that should be added to the stat line for the quarterbacks. Receiver wasn't paying attention or some sort.
What about delivery of the ball?
Excuse me?
Delivery of the ball. That's another
Delivery what?
Delivery of the ball, meaning that a receiver looks at it and think that the ball is coming fast.
No, that's the receiver's fault.
That to me is delivery of the ball.
So what? That should be based on the quarterback's fault too?
Mm-hmm. Delivery of the ball. Delivery of the ball. You throw the ball. You don't throw it fast enough. You're not throwing it, at a bullet.
Well, that's why receivers got to have good freaking vision.
And they do.
They got to have good vision for that too. They got to know when to time that stuff too. Why I got to be the quarterback's fault?
this.
No, I'm serious.
This is where the next episode comes in. The next episode that comes in is teams not taking the draft seriously.
Yeah.
Think about it. So it's
oh my goodness.
So
that's all right. We'll get deep into that. We'll get deep into that. I'll be ready for you. I will take that deep.
It's just that they don't take them seriously, so they get these people that probably not as serious about the job, want to half do it, and then don't perform to their expectations, but they just want money. There's a lot of different ways to look at it, but I still blame the quarterback.
There's some ways of just being ignorant about the thing, but at the same time, when you see a quarterback and you see their ability of wanting to work hard and, have success on the field, that's one thing. And then you look at another quarterback that just plain flat out ignorant, like Johnny Manziel, throwing Hail Marys all over the dang old place and expecting the receiver to catch the football. Yes, that's another thing.
Well, yeah.
I mean, I'm just saying. You know what I'm saying? Byron Leftwich, same way. Jamarcus Russell, another one.
I don't even know how he even thought to make the league.
That's all right. He's coming back again anyway. He wants to. So.
With who?
I don't know. He just wants to come back.
Ain't nobody picking him up. You cannot get picked up with only 76 yards passing. No.
I would not pick that man up if my life even depended on it.
I wouldn't even pick him up as a head coach or an assistant coach. You cannot get that man to be on a quarterback's coach. No.
I wouldn't either.
Man, just go to the CFL. Go to somewhere in a minor league to work on your throws. I'm sure they allow you
to work on everything, Darren. He needs to get back into shape. He needs to work on everything.
Yeah, he really needs to get into a minor league because they will allow 76 yards passing in the game. I'm just saying.
Yeah.
He was the worst kind of quarterback. I couldn't believe, what is this man about?
Oh, trust me, there's a lot more worse out there, too.
Tell me about it.
There's a lot more worse out there.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Moving on. Got our miscellaneous, Mr. Watts.
So we do.
Yeah. The floor is yours.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is. Let's see. It's about maybe 8 or 9 different pieces of information that I wanted to, throw out there and grab attention to. 2 of them relates to today's critical thinking and analysis of the NBA, the stats for today. Mm-hmm. I'll read those last. The first couple ones I'm just going to share just to throw out there because I thought these were very interesting ones to share.
Okay.
On May 3rd of 2005, Bryant Jackson, that sound familiar to you?
Bryant Jackson?
Mm-hmm.
No.
It don't.
Is he even a high-profile player?
He's not even a player. He was just... Bryant Jackson.
Please don't tell me. Hold up. I'm just gonna take the wildest guess
Go
here.
right ahead.
Please do not tell me this has something to do with the brawl at the Auburn Hills.
The chair-throwing fan from the Detroit Pistons Indiana Pacers altercation is sentenced to 2 years of probation in order to consult with an anger management therapist.
Wow.
May 3rd, 2005.
That was one of the biggest, the biggest brawls I've ever seen in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't even get to see the dang on brawl. I was knocked out.
I think I watched it.
You watched it.
I think I watched it.
And I got up in the morning.
And I told you about it, didn't I?
No, I got up in the morning and seen it on SportsCenter. I said, what is this?
Yeah.
Then I called you about it, and we got to talking about it.
Wait, called me about it?
Yeah, I called you. No, you knew about it, but I called you about it.
Called me about it? Where was we at? Where was we at that we were separated from each other? That was 2005.
No, I might have went into your room. I might have got him. I don't know what there. See, that's what happens when you're so busy thinking about grown man status. No, when you think about grown man status.
Yeah, we used to say calling each other, but you probably went into my room. That sounds about right. That sounds about right because it was getting close to end of the school anyway. So I think we was kind of in and out of school at that time anyway. We were still underage anyway.
Right.
Still had another year of school to go. So next one. May 6th of 2000. This one right here is one of my ones I really paid attention to. I believe we watched this game. Indiana Pacers, Reggie Miller and Jalen Rose each notched 40 points in the Pacers' 108-91 triumph over Philadelphia in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Semifinal Series.
Did they also blast 40 against the Lakers in the finals too?
Yes, they did. Game 3, I believe it was.
Yeah.
Their productivity gained the duo interest as an exclusive club as they became the fourth pair of teammates in NBA history to score 40 or more points in the same playoff game. It was the first time the feat had been accomplished since May 5th of 1995, when Clyde Drexler and Hakeem Olajuwon scored 41 and 40 points respectively in their first round game against Utah.
Interesting.
This is Durrell's favorite. Durrell got a favorite on this day, and I have a favorite on this day. May 7th, 1989. Michael Jordan of the Chicago Bulls got the ball on the right side of the court of his team.
Poured one on Craig Elo.
Trailing 1 point in the closing seconds of a deciding Game 5 of their 1989 Eastern Conference first round playoff series against the Cleveland Cavaliers. Jordan drove just inside the top of the key, and while falling away from the basket to his left, nailed an 18-footer over the outstretched fingertips of leaping Cavaliers defender Craig Elo for a 101-100 victory.
You gotta I love it. And you know about that game on iTunes? Just to watch it again.
That don't surprise me. Because they show that game a lot on ESPN Classic too.
And they did.
And NBA TV too.
And I bought that game on iTunes. I'm not afraid to sit up here because I'm sitting there like, oh man, I cannot wait for this game. I hope they show it on NBA TV. I seen it on
iTunes.
I seen it on iTunes. I said, shoot.
I'm surprised you don't have it on PlayStation Network.
Because it wasn't on it.
I thought it was.
No, it was just iTunes.
Oh.
I bought that and the 2010 finals of the Lakers and the Celtics. When Ray Allen broke that record for the 8 3-pointers.
I want to see that game again. Love to see that game.
I need to get my stuff back together. Of course.
6 years later, 1995.
This must be your favorite.
Yes, sir. Indiana's Reggie Miller scored 8 points, 2 3-pointers, 2 game-winning free throws over the final 16.4 seconds of the game, helping lead the Pacers to a 107-105 come-behind win over host New York in Game 1 of the Eastern Conference Semifinals series. The Pacers went on to win that series in 7 games. This is everybody's favorite moment of Reggie Miller. In my perspective, this is number 2. No, this is number 2 on my list.
Absolutely.
The number 1 favorite was when he scored 25 fourth quarter points to beat the Knicks in the critical Game 5 series in the Eastern Conference Finals.
But you know what though, dear? You made me think about that. I think that really would have been number one if the Pacers would have finished off their series. But if they didn't finish off the series, they left it as number two.
Yeah, because they did blow it. So yeah, but it's still my number one because
That's
because if they're talking about just performance, that is number one to me.
Yeah, that's number one.
Because I mean, he went off a slump, and then as soon as he went off that slump for some odd reason,
Spike Lee woke him up.
Yeah,
He woke him up.
Mm-hmm. Always.
Yeah.
In these type of situations, I always like to talk about. I like to always share and remember, in particular, people, rather if I know them or not. May 9th, 2009, Hall of Fame coach Chuck Daly, winner of two, I think it's Chuck Daly, I think it is, or Daly?
Chuck Daly.
Yeah. Winner of two NBA championships, died in Jupiter, Florida at the age of 78.
Yeah.
I like to always try to remember.
Absolutely. You always
some of the greats.
He, in mind.
Yeah, he won two NBA championships, both with Detroit Pistons.
Yeah.
And then on May 11th of 2011, former NBA player Robert Traylor is found dead at his apartment at the age of 34 of a heart attack.
Yeah, absolutely. It's good that you keep those type of things in your mind.
Yeah.
This is cool.
So in relation to today's critical thinking and analysis of stats, May 6, 1993, Shaquille O'Neal of Orlando is named the NBA Rookie of the Year after averaging 23.4 points, 8th in the NBA, 13.9 rebounds, second in the NBA, and 3.53 blocks per game, second in the league, leading the Magic with a 41-41 record to an improvement of 20 wins over the previous season. Same date, about 5 years later. No, I'm sorry, 4 years later, 1997. Robert Horry of the Los Angeles Lakers set an NBA playoff record by making all 7 of his three-point field goal attempts in a Laker 1-0-3-1-0 loss. Wow.
Oh, man.
Attention to the Utah Jazz in Game 2 of the Western Conference semifinals. This was 97. I think Shaq and him was teaming up at this time. Yeah, they teamed up at this time.
Yeah, because
97. Yeah. Shaq was already there and Robert Horry was pretty much there. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what created the Lakers to go a dynasty because they kept the same team.
Right.
They kept the same team and they was able to win a three-peat. They never got rid of that team. I think if they would have never had gotten rid of that team after they won a three-peat, they would have won 4 more straight.
I wouldn't roll past those people that couldn't stop them anyway.
Yeah. That is the interesting stats of the day, brought to you by nobody, courtesy of NBA.com/stats.
All right. Very good, man. Very good.
On this day, stats, excuse me.
Yes. Very good. Okay. We'll take a break from all this good stuff here for a minute. And we're just going to, share what's on our minds. Off the topic, anything. Well, go ahead and just share what's on our minds. Mr. Watts?
Yes.
Talk to me, man. What's on your mind?
It's sad because when I was looking at the paper for this show, I had something on my mind then and just didn't write it down.
Based on what?
I don't remember.
Oh, wow.
Wow. I was sitting here and I couldn't remember what it was, but I guess I have bigger problems that really, you know about it.
Yes.
And it has really taken a toll on me, so I just kind of, forgot about it and didn't remember what was on my mind at that time.
Yeah.
But other than that, there's nothing really on my mind other than, doing this. I'm very excited to do this.
That was on my mind. I'm just really blessed with the opportunity
to
be able to start, doing some podcasting and being able to do some fun
hopefully we can really
and stuff like that. Hopefully we can build off of this.
Yeah, really good fan base also.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's gonna be very fun on that behalf.
And big shout out to our sister for actually helping us get this together. Mm-hmm. She thought of the idea, and we never really knew how to go forth with it.
Right.
So, big ups also to our cousin, which our sister calls her sister. We give ups to both of them because without
them two and the support, man,
we would not have been right where we're at right now. So I give them big ups, and again, we thank the Lord for this opportunity to be able to do this.
Absolutely.
Once more.
Yeah, we couldn't be more blessed than where we already are now.
Absolutely.
Even though we always facing downfalls.
Oh, always. We faced 5 months of issues of trying to get this together, and when we finally did, we was able to,
exactly,
get past it and move on.
Yeah,
finally figured it out, and here we are.
Here we are.
Yep.
So that's big. That's big. All right, ladies and gentlemen, you're listening to Double Take Sports Talk with the Watch Brothers. I'm Daryl, of course, Darren on the side here. We are entering the second half of our podcast, our show. I found something very interesting, of course, with the Pacers trying to hit with Nate McMillan.
Just like I told you last night, bad move.
And let me tell you, I'm going to tell you, this really defeats the purpose of what Larry Bird said. This is what I think of my personal opinion. If you think Larry Bird said it's time for a new voice, he's not no new voice. He's an associate coach. That's how I feel about it. If you wanted a new voice, you need to bring somebody in like Randy Whitman, Avery Johnson, Mark Jackson, somebody that will bring in a new voice. But Nate McMillan, he may have a different approach to things, but that's not a new voice.
And let me also be honest about this. You got a point about that, but there's another one I need to make.
Okay.
Anytime, I would love to send out a message to every NBA coach that is not coaching or is possibly looking for another coaching job. Here is my message to you. If any one of you decides that y'all want to go out and look for a job to coach, whatever you do, please do not go to the Indiana Pacers.
Yeah.
Because they already have a coach. His name is Larry Bird.
Yeah.
He wants to call the shots. He wants to do this. He wants to do that. Do not fall yourself for that. If you just want to make extra money, by all means, do that.
Yeah. Let him run his own system. You just make the extra bread.
You just make the extra bread. Because you are not going to be able to coach in the coaching style that you want to coach. Now, a lot of people blame Frank Vogel for not doing what he do. But there is another side to that.
Exactly.
Larry Bird is a control freak when it comes down to it. I bet my money Bird was the one that came up with this whole run small. And y'all didn't do no better than what y'all did when y'all ran big.
Exactly.
Y'all did better running big than y'all did small.
Yeah. I would have felt that point that when they got rid of David West, they needed to go ahead and get rid of Bird and Vogel. That was my personal opinion. But, hey, I don't run the show.
Of course.
All right. Time to discuss our headlines. Brought to you by nobody.
Of course.
All right. We had Josh Norman versus Odell Beckham Jr. Of course, the Giants and the Panthers. I forgot what week it was, but they was, of course, the Panthers went into that game undefeated. And, of course, Giants were the underdogs, tried to make a statement of them. But, hey. Anyway, Norman and Beckham had got into multiple scuffles. I don't know if anybody, I'm quite sure people have seen it. Darren, I don't know if you've seen it. But yeah, I've seen it myself. So the question here is, everybody thinks that Norman is the better player. This is just based off of fans and I believe the media itself. Who do you believe? Me, Beckham. Who is the better player?
Beckham.
I believe it too.
Beckham.
According to the article by Chris, I think it's Welseling, he is around the NFL writer. And I was reading this article, and I thought he pointed out some very interesting things that I thought I'd share.
Next gen stats.
The next gen stats.
Yep.
Beckham caught 4 passes of 6. No, he caught 4 of 6 passes for 30 yards in the game time touchdowns with Norman in coverage on
And burnt him
Eli's.
3 times.
Yeah, of 22 of Eli Manning's 47 pass plays, and that's per the next gen stats. Just over a minute into the game, Beckham beat Norman off the line and broke inside, gaining open space, only to drop a potential 52-yard touchdown. Beckham had 2.5 yard separation from Norman when he was perfectly placed the ball right in his hands. And a similar scenario played out in the third quarter when he targeted Beckham for a 40-yard throw. He had 2.08 yards of separation by the time the ball left Manning's hands.
That's unbeatable.
And a gaping 4.25 yards when the ball hit the ground on a misfire caused by Panthers defensive end Charles Johnson. And Beckham also he beat Norman on the 10-yard sideline pass, only to drop on a low pass from Manning. So, rather if you look at it or not, Beckham shut him down. Beckham
pretty much shut him down. But the game really proved the way it was.
Mm-hmm.
It really proved itself.
Yeah.
Because at the end of it, 6 catches, 76 yards, and a touchdown, which was the game-tying touchdown, and the only one you only get in the fourth quarter. That's not good.
Yeah.
Where it's supposed to be at least a good over 100 yards and
Right.
2 or 3 touchdowns.
Right.
And Josh Norman finished that game with only 3 total tackles, 2 of them solo. Really?
Yeah,
What? That, I mean, like I said, the game itself really proved who was the better player. But if Odell Beckham Jr. would have completed these passes, that wouldn't have been up for debate.
Oh, yeah.
It wouldn't have been up for debate. And everybody overrated Josh Norman. That's why the Panthers really pretty much, I think, in my personal opinion, got rid of him. Because he's not the player who you think he is.
Yeah.
He's
Absolutely.
not the top rated, in my personal opinion, just because you shut down Julio Jones and all these other top receivers. To me, that don't make you good at all.
No.
You just got to play your game.
Mm-hmm.
You play your game.
Yep.
You do what you got to do. You make sure you cause no disruptions on your area.
Exactly.
But if Odell Beckham is shutting you down and giving you separation because he got better speed than you got a problem.
Absolutely.
That's how I feel about it.
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? I just feel that, to me, that was the poorest performance in a hyped game.
Oh, yeah.
Just in my personal opinion.
It is.
Especially for when they talking about 2 people. 2 players, one from the Panthers and one from the Giants. They talk about Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman. Now, don't get me wrong, not Josh Norman. Odell Beckham, that's the biggest beast you'll see in any other game.
Yeah.
Like the one I brag about all the time. That one-handed catch with his thumb and his index against the Cowboys, and the Cowboys still got flagged for pass interference. That don't make no sense.
Yeah, you ain't lying on that.
That don't make no sense. They held all over that dude, and he still caught the pass with one index finger and his thumb, part of his position, and still got flagged with a defensive pass interference. Cut that mess out. You are a beast. That's just how I feel about it.
Cut it out.
You are just officially, to me, you are a beast mode.
Big time.
That is straight up beast mode. He does so much other things on that football field that I've seen in old school receivers in years.
Right.
Okay. He's just a new generation baller. You know, he's the newest one. And the Panthers and the Giants game, that just really, he really looked at the base of them 2 versus the game.
Right.
And that really took away a lot from what he was really supposed to be doing.
Right.
Tearing them up.
Really.
So that really hurt.
It did. But when you think about it, anytime that a receiver can outdo a quarterback, regardless to the fact.
Yeah.
If you outbeat them, you got work to do.
Yeah,
obviously, obviously, Odell Beckham He got beat. He got beat. Period. And when you get beat like that, other receivers like Julio Jones and who else the better receiver that he played against? Whoever it was that he played against, obviously they ain't fast enough.
No.
And you could just have your way with them. See, in order for him to succeed, Josh Norman is to bump and run him. That would be the only way he could succeed. But other than that, he's not going to succeed if you just let him run off the line. He's going to beat you every time.
He's going to get beat every time.
He's going to beat you every time.
So we'll see how he does with Washington. But to me, Beckham, he's the best.
Yep, Beckham.
He's the best.
I'm with Beckham.
Yes. All right. Okay, this is the one that really caught my attention, so I had to put it on the show. NFL and WrestleMania. Of course, WrestleMania passed months ago. So they always come up pretty much every year with NFL stars resembling WWE stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wanted to take a take with Darren. I just wanted to roll down with you and check out some of these, players that resembled WWE stars.
Mm-hmm.
And the first one that caught my attention was Tom Brady and Giselle. They are the Triple H of Stephanie McMahon of the company. And could that be true? Yeah. They both cheaters.
Cut it out.
Triple H cheated his way to get to the WWE Championship. Tom Brady cheated his way to get it to
Super Bowl wins, yeah.
So, yeah. And maybe the only difference between that is that Stephanie supported that Giselle may not have. I don't know.
Yeah.
But what do you think about that?
Tom Brady and Triple H. I'm not going to lie. I am a bigger fan of Triple H than I am Tom Brady. I love Triple H. I think he is he's one of the greatest wrestlers that have ever wrestled
in that square circle.
Yes, in the WWE period.
Absolutely.
It just upset me that he was not a part of the alliance at the time. That really hurt my feelings.
Yeah, he was out with that painful injury.
Man,
and took him out of the game for a while.
If he would have been there, oh my goodness.
But that was the whole purpose, to cover up and help the ratings go up for that.
Yeah.
Because he was gone.
Mm-hmm.
That's how it was when Stone Cold was gone.
Mm-hmm.
Guess who picked up the slack?
The Rock. Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm. He picked up the slack. So yeah, absolutely. I love Hunter.
Love me some Hunter.
And another one that caught my attention, Cam Newton. It's the Roman Reigns.
I never really heard of him, so I really can't even give a comparison to that.
Well, I really haven't heard too much of Roman Reigns either, but Roman Reigns is, in a way, is kind of like with Cam Newton. They both get cheers and boos from each of their respective company.
Mm-hmm.
When Cam Newton was out there dabbing them folks, guess what they were doing? Booing them.
Yep.
But when he was at home, after dabbing them folks, what was he doing? Cheering.
Mm-hmm.
They was cheering.
Yeah.
And Roman Reigns is no different.
Yeah.
And whoever his opponents was, some he'll cheer about, some of the fans will cheer about it, and whoever that he won against another fan favorite or something, he get booed. Mm-hmm. So it's pretty much that. Then I don't know if you know this one, Rob Gronkowski and Dean Ambrose.
Don't know who that is.
I know Dean Ambrose, and I just no answer for that one. Moving on. This one cracked me up. Oh, and by the way, let me credit Adam Rank. He is the NFL media writer for this, and he was the one that did this article because he is a big fan of WWE and NFL. So, this will crack me up. Former Vikings divisive and Brock Lesnar is Brock Lesnar.
That is that is right.
And my all-time favorite one. Darren, I told you about this one. You know you agree with me too. Mm-hmm. Peyton Manning is the taker of the company.
The Undertaker. Mark Calloway. That I agree with.
Yes.
Peyton Manning will play mind games with you all day. You think you have him, but then the next minute he's going to play mind games, and that is just like The Undertaker. You think you're going to have him, but he's going to play mind games on you all over that ring until you really suffer. Mm-hmm. And that's what Peyton Manning is.
And of course, I want to mention these two because we just got through talking about them, and then evidently they're on here. Odell Beckham Jr.
Mm-hmm.
He is the Dolph Ziggler of the company.
Never heard of him.
Josh Norman, Kevin Owens.
Never heard of him.
And then the one that really got my attention, Richard Sherman, Randy Orton.
That I agree. They kind of like they're not too popular, but they're not too good either. So either or, it's just they're just to me there, and they're looking for attention. That's just me.
Yeah. What about Drew Brees? He's Chris Jericho. He's the
Chris Jericho. Yes, I forgot all about Chris Jericho.
Drew Brees is the Chris Jericho.
See, Drew Brees is not arrogant as Jericho is.
No, he's not.
Jericho was arrogant,
And still,
but when he
podcast.
oh gosh, you listen to his podcast?
No, but I heard that he was very arrogant. He talks a lot about himself. That's what I heard.
I'm afraid to even listen to it now.
You ain't listen to it?
No.
Oh, I thought you did.
I'm almost afraid to even listen.
Well, some
to it.
people still give it a good review, but
Yeah.
some people just hate it because he just talks about himself.
Well, yeah, that's true, but I just prefer. I mean, Drew Brees is not that arrogant as Chris Jericho.
No. It's just that he just approves of cheating just as much as anybody else. I hate bringing that up, but that's the only thing I got against him.
Yeah.
But I love Drew Brees.
Me too.
And there was one more that caught my attention. J.J. Watt is John Cena.
Body size, yes.
To a body size and how much brutal beatings they both be taking. Yeah, I agree with that too. Yeah, I just wanted to throw that out there. Adam Rank, man, you're the best. I like you, man. You really threw down on that one, man. You really took time to do that. Fair enough for me. Okay. Last one on our headlines, which is I think is very important to me, and of course you, Darren, very much. Sports athletes, right? If it's NFL or NBA, anyone or soccer, whatever. Sports athletes and their faith. Now, excuse me. With any player, they always put the faith, the trust, and their humble ways. And they always bring God into the mix. He's always the first on that list. So, and including with everything that they do. So, what I want to ask you, of course, is we're in this podcast and, we're really starting to believe a lot. How important is your faith, with this? And you can either speak for other players, us, anybody. Well, how important you think the faith is?
It's important. It's important, and it's important because without the faith, there is nothing.
There is nothing.
There is nothing. In order for you to have that faith, you have to be able to trust yourself, and you have to be able to do what you have to do. And one of those things that you have to have is faith. And praying for things that you want and need.
But you know what, though, Darren? I didn't mean to cut you off, but there's some things that really got my attention about this. Most people, rather if you could be non-religious or not, I also see this, and I've seen a lot of this. They just put God first. And I feel that's not the best thing to do, even if you're non-religious. Everybody can put God first. Any and everybody.
Wardell Curry.
But see, that's the problem. He practices his faith. He practices his religion. That's what I'm getting at with this.
Oh, I see.
Most people don't. They just go out and just, put God first. Why are you putting God first? Steph Curry know why. He knows his faith. He know why he put God first. But ask anybody else that either don't do the whole religion thing, what would they tell you? What would they tell you?
Here's a good person to ask. Peyton Manning.
Yeah. See.
If you paid attention to the what is it called? Trying to think of the name of it. It's at the tip of my tongue. What's the show that they always show for is it America's Game?
Yeah.
Where they show
Super Bowl champions and their stories of how they won the Super Bowl.
America's Game. If you pay attention to America's Game in 2000, the year the Colts won. Mm-hmm. In the segment when Peyton Manning said, I don't know his exact quotation, but I can just put it as close as I can. Dear God, if there is a God, if you are a God, please answer my prayer and not let Tom Brady get another championship ring or go on his way to the Super Bowl. He has enough.
Yeah.
If there is a God.
Exactly. If there is a God. So why would you say a prayer like that? And why would you go out and say, yeah, you thank God for this and you thank God for this opportunity?
Uh-huh.
Do you even know why you're doing it?
Uh-huh.
Do you even know why you put God first?
Yeah.
That's the understanding. That's why when you see players in the middle of the floor, of the circle, especially in NFL games, you see them. They come gather around with a word of prayer. Guess what? They know their faith. Now, there's some that may not know either, but majority of them,
yeah,
they know their faith.
Absolutely.
They know their practices.
Absolutely.
They know why they put God first.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, I mean, I thought that was very important.
David Robinson.
Yes.
He knows why.
Hakeem Olajuwon, he's a Muslim. But he understands why he put
his religion.
His religion first. Why he puts Allah first. You got to know why you're doing these things, and many blessings will come upon you. That's why the Dream got 2 rings. David Robinson got 2 rings. I think it's 1 or 2. I can't remember.
I think it's 2.
I think it's
1999
and 2003.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 2 rings. And that was his last year, and he retired. And, Steph Curry got 1.
And looked like he's on his
back-to-back
way to
MVP,
2.
and looked like he only back-to-back MVP, and he's on his way to a second one, possibly. But got to get past a dangerous Thunder team.
They got past him in the season, so I will see.
See, and we was talking about that a couple episodes ago there,
mm-hmm.
that there could be a possible rematch
yeah.
between these 2 teams, and guess what? That's exactly what it is.
Mm-hmm. If they meet in the playoffs, what would the Thunder have to do to shut down Golden State? And now I have a new theory. Yep. So here's a new theory for Oklahoma.
Mm-hmm.
Look at what Boston did.
Choked.
No. Against Golden State. The Boston Celtics.
When they shut down Steph Curry?
When they shut down the whole Golden State team.
Oh, yeah. No homework, pretty much.
Yeah.
Pretty much.
Watch Boston.
Yes, that's homework right there.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. All right. That wrapped up our headlines. Brought to you by nobody. All right. Time for the Quizman question of the day. All right. We got 4 players that has posted quadruple doubles in NBA history. Who are they?
Don't quote me, but this is who I've seen. David Robinson, Hakeem Olajuwon, Nate Thurman, and Albert Robinson.
Mm-hmm. That's exactly who it is. And Hakeem Olajuwon was supposed to be really credited too, but the NBA had reviewed it, and they had seen some kind of significant problem. I can't remember what it was. I think it was what it was supposed to have is either his 9th block, his 10th block or his 10th assist. I can't remember which one it was. He was credited at first, but then after review, they looked at it and came up with their conclusion and swiped it away from him.
Mm-hmm.
So he was stuck with 1.
David Robinson scored 34 points, 10 rebounds, 10 assists, 10 blocks. Hakeem Olajuwon, 18 points, 16 rebounds, 10 assists, 11 blocks. David Robinson did his against Detroit. Hakeem Olajuwon did his versus the Bucks. Nate Thurman, 22 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, 12 blocks, did it against the Hawks. And Albert Robinson, 22 points, 14 rebounds, 13 assists, and 12 blocks. And I believe he did that, which I do not remember honestly who he did that against. I forgot to write it down, but
I'm sorry, no worries on that.
Just as an FYI for anybody's curious.
Absolutely. Okay. All right, we're on the home stretch, Mr. Watts. How you feeling, man? You doing all right?
Feeling great.
Feeling groovy. All right. So am I. All right. Time for critical thinking and analysis. We got I got today Robert Horry and Shaquille O'Neal. So this is the starter versus the big men. Oh, well, the 6 men, excuse me. The 6 men. Now, I brought this up because you have a starter and a sixth man. The question is, with these two, Shaquille O'Neal and Robert Ory, how do you know to win and how to be efficient when it comes down to Shaq being a starter and Robert Ory as a sixth man being a backup? Stat speaks for itself.
Yes, the stats show that Shaq is the better player. To be honest, even with that, that's just because Robert Ory have always been a sixth man. But when you look,
But see, the question is that I didn't really iterate on that question. When you have a starter and a sixth man, it's not a compare stats of who was the better player. It's more of how can you be more efficient as a starter and a sixth man.
oh, Robert Ory was a starter one time, was he?
If in a stint with Houston,
Well, yeah, that was because of it.
in majority of his career, he was a sixth man.
Well, the most important part is the ability to understand the game,
Absolutely.
the ability to be emotional and keep it to yourself. Robert Ory always went out there and gave it 100% coming off that bench, and I'm telling you, I hated when he came into the game.
I did too.
When he played against the Pacers in the NBA Finals in 2000, I hated it when he came into the game. He dreaded me every single time he came into the game because he would tear them up.
He will, and he does it every time. And
him and AC Green and Rick Fox.
Yeah. See, you bench players and they got chemistry. That's your sixth man right there.
Mm-hmm.
And with Robert Ory, the one thing people don't understand is like, oh, you can't credit Robert Ory for all these wins. Yeah, he did his job.
Mm-hmm.
He backed up players that needed to be backed up.
Mm-hmm. Oh,
Shaq did his job by producing what he needed to produce as a starter.
Mm-hmm.
Look at here. Let me show you. Robert Ory got 7 rings. Shaq got 4.
4.
2 of Ory's rings came as a starter. 2 of them. Shaq's all 4 came as starter. So you can't tell me that being that much efficient as a sixth man is better than being a starter?
Yeah.
Look, Robert Ory had 16 seasons over Shaq. And Shaq had 19. Okay. And Robert Ory played in 16 playoffs games, and Shaq played in 17. But here's the kicker. Shaq appeared in 15 All-Star games. Robert Ory appeared in none.
Sad.
What is it about this right here that Shaq can appear on All-Star game, 15 of them, and Robert Ory appeared in none? Guess what? He's a sixth man. He don't have to. He don't have to produce that much. All he needs to do is be able to produce for the starters as a backup.
So that leads to the conclusion I believe that Robert Ory is one of, if not the greatest sixth man supporter the NBA has ever had.
I agree. 7 rings, you can't beat that.
You cannot beat that.
You can't beat that.
He beat Jordan being a starter.
Yes, he did. He beat Jordan
Do
being a
you
starter.
know how hard it is to go to another team? Although he played with 3 teams, and he won 3 he won championships with each
every team that he played for.
It's hard to go into a new team and be a backup supporter for an NBA team.
And that's exactly why he got that type of credit. That's why I give him that type of credit.
I don't never forget Robert Ory.
No.
Never.
No.
Being as a sixth man, he's overlooked as a sixth man and a basketball player. He's overlooked.
And look, Robert Ory has not been selected to no NBA
All-Stars,
first team, second team, All NBA teams, nothing like that.
No
he has
MVPs,
not won no MVPs,
no Finals
MVPs.
MVPs.
It didn't matter because guess what, Darren? At the end of the day, he was backing up his team.
Yep.
He was doing his job.
That's what
that
mattered.
crap didn't matter to him. It didn't matter to him.
Because if it really mattered, then he would have played like it mattered.
Right.
He played to back up his teammates and show productivity.
Exactly.
While his teammates are resting.
Yes. So that's the importance of a starter and a sixth man. Nothing against starters, but that's what they're there for. That's what your starters are there for. So you also got to give them credit too.
But I love to give six-man credit when they are really
When it's
efficient
due.
performance.
Absolutely, I agree. All right. For those who tuned in for portions of the show, here's what you missed in case you did miss it. We discussed the following from our headlines. We discussed Odell Beckham Jr. and Josh Norman and their brutal blows and who was the better player. We also discussed NFL and WrestleMania. A little important, fun thing you have to throw out there. And importantly, sports athletes and their faith. Our rundown followed by other successful playbooks other than the West Coast offense and adding a new stat line for the quarterbacks. We did Quiz Mania Question of the Day, followed by Critical Thinking of Analyzing Stats with Robert Ory and Shaquille O'Neal. And the Quiz Mania Question of 4 NBA players with quadruple doubles in NBA history, which was David Robinson, The Dream, Alvin Robinson, and Nate Thurman. That wraps up another edition of Double Take Sports Talk with the Watch Brothers. With Darren, I'm Daryl. Catch up with us on another episode of Double Take. The Watch Brothers are officially gone.